Hello and welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. My name's Adam Cook. I'm your host for episode 397. We're inching closer, and if you're watching the video version of this podcast, maybe you'll have heard me say that twice. I don't know. Introducing, of course, I was going to say diagonally opposite me, but let's just say for the audio version, hello, Christopher White.
Hello, how are we?
I'm good, mate. I'm
good.
I'm intrigued by the fact that, again, this doesn't play so well in audio, but I'm going to keep speaking so people understand. You seem to really like to zoom in on yourself, like most of.
Well, I want to sit in my armchair
with your burger pillow.
With my burger pillow, but there's nowhere to really put a mic, and I feel like people might find it more intimate and might appreciate.
But you're comfy, and that's all that matters.
Oh,
people think we're in a studio somewhere, such as the up close. Bants. Oh, just forget it. Adam Carroll's here.
Yeah. Hi.
I've tried, mate. How are you doing, all right?
I'm good.
Okay. It's good to see that you're in the Hat Club this week.
Well, I think we can all... Well, you can't, Adam, but, we got hair issues, you know.
I've got hair issues. Just not the same ones that you've clearly got. Gary Bailey, who, again, if you're not watching the video, you can't tell, but he has not got hair... Well, he's got hair issues, but certainly not the same ones I've got. Gaz, that's the main...
I'm getting closer to Cousin It.
Yeah. Now you say it. I mean, I was thinking if you just kept it going and kept the beard going, it would just kind of just be one brown furry.
What's the longest you've had your hair, Gez?
Probably this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you should really keep going now, just sort of
just see how long I can go until I.
Yeah. Imagine if you had amazing hair, and all of a sudden you were getting called in for hair adverts and stuff.
Oh, Vosine. Is Vosine still a brand?
What the hell is that?
Bloody hell.
Vosine.
Going back a bit.
Oh, well, I apologise. I got a funny feeling, because there's not much happening. Well, there's some stuff happening in the world of video games, but one thing that's happening is we all seem to be going back to old games for some reason. And I'm just going to kick it off this week, because I think we've discussed this before. Do you know when you sit down at your console and you just sort of leaf through all the tiles and you're like, no, I should play Resident Evil 3. I really haven't finished it. No, not in the mood. And you just keep leafing through and well, I did that when I found myself with some time to kill. And I happened upon Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And I thought, well, hang on, when was that Chris, September, October, November?
Yeah, November.
Late last year.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, quite a bit, all of us with varying opinions. And I thought one of my biggest problems with it was that it needed work. Even its most staunch defenders, Gary, would agree that it needed work. It needed just a little bit longer in the oven, which it's supposedly had now. And I thought, well, I'm on the Xbox One X now. Let's give it a go. And I really, really don't like this game. I really don't like it. And I went in with an open mind, trying to forget that it's one of my favourite developers, so it should be this and it should be that. I'm going to say something that's going to really upset people. Maybe you, Gaz. Maybe you, Chris, actually. Two things that are going to upset maybe you, Gaz, maybe you, Chris. Adam, I don't think it's going to give two shits, but number one, I'm well and truly over Star Wars right now. I really am. And I think this game feels like it's from 2016, maybe 2015. There is something there, but everything about it feels weird to me. The movement, the locomotion feels off. The jumping feels completely off. The combat, so I'm not going to lie, I just put it on easy. I thought, you know what, I'm going to put this on easy. That they put difficulty options in, I'm going to put it on easy, because I just want to go through this game and see what the people who finished it got out of it that I didn't. The combat didn't feel good to me before. It doesn't feel any better on easy. And you know what it left me thinking, and I wonder if this might be something that you guys agree with. I really want a Star Wars game where I don't have to start over. I don't want to be a character that has to learn how to force push someone. And Adam and I chatted about this, and he mentioned this. Do you remember Force Unleashed 2, how you start as Darth Vader? Yeah. And you are just tearing things apart. I want that game. I want a game where I am... What was the Star Wars film where they actually showed Yoda fighting, and the whole way through.
No, Revenge of the Sith and
I think so. Yeah, because the whole time through all these films, you're like, oh, he's a little old man, and then he's just like suddenly bouncing around, and like you're like, oh, and it's cool as hell. I want that combat, that sort of badassery where I am just instantly a proper Jedi. I don't want to have a flashback sequence where I learn force push and pull or whatever again or slow. I just want to be. I kind of want someone like a Devil May Cry game, but Star Wars, because the swords combat's there. It's already there. But I feel like I don't know. I really, I'm open mind, and it just, I got like, I did the first 2 main planets, and
So how would you make that game then? Like, just in terms of if you were to start with everything,
yeah.
How would you?
The same way you do as in Dante, like in Devil May Cry 5, you don't start like this powerless fool. But you do learn new combat skills, like you learn a new attack with your sword. So rather than being like, oh, I've learned force, push, and pull, like I don't think this game can exist because we all know how precious Star Wars, Disney are of Star Wars. So it's not like you can't mess with it. It is their property, and they want it perceived this specific way. But I think that's to its massive detriment. I really do. I feel like the kind of staunch. I get. You don't need to be able to slice people in half and kill people. I get that. I get it. It's PG-13, whatever. But the consistence. Like when you think about Cal, and I haven't finished it, so please, if I'm wrong, say so. What makes him special? He ends up, I would imagine, just another Jedi guy.
No, see, Jedi, without getting into it too much, there are different levels of Jedi. Like you've got your Jedi, the Padawans, the younger, the ones that are learning. Yeah. Then you've got your Jedi Masters, and there's different ranges in ability. Like not every Jedi can manipulate the Force like others.
No, because he's got that special power where he can. What is it? Force echoes? Is that his special thing where he can?
Yes.
He can touch an object and it.
So there's a different range across all the comics, all the shows, all the films, all the books. There's a lot that there's a big spectrum, and different Jedis have come and gone that all possess different abilities and different ways to use the Force. So I think when you start a game like that, he's a standard Jedi with the ability to use a lightsaber,
bits and pieces,
around. Yeah, and then he remembers the special kind of abilities he had. So I completely get what you're saying, and I think it's completely valid. I think there were times when I played which it frustrated me why I couldn't do simple things that most Jedis can, like, and the fact that you only get the Force pull right towards the end made it frustrating because the amount of times you could go and use that through the game. Like you can go back to like Dathomir and all these other planets and use these, but you're not using them within the context of the story. So it doesn't. There's not plenty of replayability in it. I've found.
Well, I feel like when they introduced like the Force push. I mean, granted, the whole thing is him remembering stuff that he's suppressed because it was like he didn't want to be like found by the Inquisition, but. When he remembers Force push, why does he not remember Force pull? Because they're essentially the two sides of the same coin. It's one of those. It was a very video gamey thing, that part, I think.
And that's I think that's what my big problem with it is they Respawn are really good at that. Like they're really good at making video games. You think of how Apex or Titanfall makes you feel with the actual controlling of it, how video gamey it feels, and I appreciate that. But then what you throw in is, so for example, it's a little detail I probably didn't even notice it the first time, but the second time through, do you know when you first go to one of the tables where you can customize your lightsaber? Yeah. And it does to be fair to Respawn, it does the Star Warsiness very well. Like there's quite a subdued soundtrack in this moment. There's not an awful lot happening, and then you put your lightsaber down and you change it. It sort of goes doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, the kind of Star Warsy sting music, And I just thought it's actually become its own cliche right now. It sort of feels hackneyed to have that exact music and the exact star wipes, which maybe without those it wouldn't be Star Wars. But I just found myself feeling like this game ends up feeling really cookie cutter when it should feel incredible because it's Respawn, it's Star Wars, it's third person. It just, I don't know, something about it just feels super cliched to me. Like nothing felt original about this game. And I wonder in like 6 years, 7 years, 10 years time, will it be remembered as, oh yeah, that Star Wars game? Because if you're talking space and stuff like that, I can't think of a game in the Star Wars canon that I would be like, oh, that. I would go, and Gaz, I mean, for the video people, right behind you, those, Mass Effect 2 and 3, I would go Dead Space. I would even say that of the Star Wars games, Battlefront 2 is currently in a better state. And that's the other thing, by the way. Playing it on X, where are we now? May. So well over 6 months later. This game runs like shit. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, this is on an Xbox One X, which is currently the most powerful platform that's console-based.
I found that with a lot of, particularly third-party games, that they don't seem to take advantage of the X.
No.
Well, not very well anyway. I mean, think of the number of games that they could easily get to 60 frames. Even if they do it with a performance mode instead, and just keep it at 1080p. Rather than going up to 4K.
And I believe that's the problem, by the way. I believe, so on PS4, a lot of the time you can select resolution or performance. I believe the Xbox One X is kind of hard-coded to try and force 4K. So while you can, and I did, by the way, select performance for, because we've had this discussion, I'll always go performance over resolution. It's still framing, and it's, I don't know, when I was... it's difficult not to be excited when you're playing it at the time because it's like, this is a new Star Wars game by EA, it's by Respawn, Jesus Christ, everything about this should be incredible. Playing it a little bit removed from that, I'm playing it through and I was going like, this feels so like every other game in this ilk. I think do you know what I mean?
There's a weird thing where every time I went back to play it, this may seem harsh, but I just felt like I wasn't having fun.
And that's it. That's what that's exactly what I'm getting at.
That to me is what is insanely strange about the games, because if I ever play The Force Unleashed, like when you were talking to me and I said, oh, when you get to be Vader and stuff, like those moments, and the way that's more just kind of like, they're kind of more hack and slash than the challenge that they're putting on the plate here with the difficulty is kind of like, I'm up for it. I'm up for the idea. I wasn't opposed to it, but pardon the pun, but the respawning of enemies is not a good idea. It's just not. Like, the enemies shouldn't come back like that. It just doesn't. It just makes it.
So don't you think that's a bigger problem? Like this, let's say, really removed from this game. I feel like the more I think about it, the more it was like they had a whiteboard and they just threw every fucking idea, respawning enemies, bonfires, skill trees. It just felt like they kept throwing ideas, and it could have just gone for a focused single-player, Uncharted-style adventure. I know we're going to talk about that, but I hate to say it, but whether you love Uncharted or hate Uncharted, their focus is they've not. And hey, we haven't played The Last of Us 2, so we don't know that they haven't. But Naughty Dog makes the blockbuster action-adventure popcorn movie game. They don't suddenly decide to add RPG mechanics in, or okay, now there's enemies respawn. Like, the respawn... What's the name of the planet? If anyone remembers, I think it's the first main proper planet where you learn force push, and you're pushing boulders around.
No, I can't.
But you know the one I mean, where you're pushing the boulders,
like a little
big
puzzle,
balls
and
around.
you shoot the boulder across the way and stuff. Yeah,
and I had done that last year, and I was like, I should just be able to bang done, and I couldn't remember it. I was like, am I doing something wrong? I feel like I've skipped something, and it doesn't feel intuitive. And Adam, you hit the nail on the head. I'd come down on that lift, and I don't remember there just being no sound. It was just blank. I was just watching a 30-second load screen of me going down a lift, and it was only when I went back up I was like, Why am I playing this? And that's not to say I think it's shit, because it's not bad. I think
as Star Wars fans, no, like,
I think maybe that's the point, guy. Maybe I'm not anymore.
He enjoyed it more than we did, but like, I consider myself a Star Wars fan, but I had to really force myself to try and find the quality of this that I enjoy, because these kind of games are my bag anyway, like the Uncharted kind of style stuff. But like, even as you said, Adam, like you wanted to start off like just being instantly like powerful and kind of running around the place and stuff like that, right? I enjoy the concept of starting off and becoming the Jedi. I think that's really cool. But there was like hours into the game, I'd be like,
it's a lot of time.
I still feel like nothing. I still feel like I'm just poxing my way through this.
Like you can come up to a stormtrooper who has the ability to. I'm trying to think how, because they're all sorts. They're all stormtroopers, but variants of the ones that they look like the normal ones, but they can actually block you and parry you.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this, and I'm like, but I'm a Jedi, man. You should be nothing to me, and that's a difficult problem to solve because that means you have to make every enemy
It's the Superman problem, isn't it?
It is.
It's that thing of like you can't really allow the player to be full Jedi, but
But maybe that's where it comes into it that they made that style of game rather than making a Uncharted or a DMC style of game. And I think for me, again, and hey, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan out there. I mean, I will say that I think there is also a big problem that Disney are rinsing Star Wars fans right now. Like, there's no question about it. Like, there is something. I mean, obviously, the current situation we're in, this is going to be an interesting thing when it comes to what they do next. But in terms of Star Wars content, it's been a film every Christmas. Isn't there
Mandalorian was great though.
Mandalorian, isn't there an animated one that just finished last season or something?
Clone Wars.
But
there's loads planned in the work, and I think there is an oversaturation.
Yeah,
especially on like TV and in games and on the cinema. Like Star Wars was always good because there was seldom movies that
it felt magic, didn't it?
Yes, the original trilogy, that was and is the ultimate science fiction trilogy. It had everything you want. We won't go into the other films, but that as itself was fantastic. And then they keep releasing more stuff to try and explain everything. And like the magic of it was you invented your own stories, and it was your personal world. It was more individual and unique to you because you had that. And I think part of the problem with Jedi Fallen Order, because I didn't love it.
No,
I think I gave it an 8. And
but it was nearly a 7, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was.
You were like in the middle.
Well,
we didn't split the difference in 0.5. I can't remember, but that was last year. I can't remember last night.
A lot to do was with the various bugs that I had.
That's right.
Which ended up getting patched.
And most of them, to be fair, it isn't buggy. It just doesn't run right, I should say now. I didn't find any bugs with it.
But there was stuff like the 3D world, the mapping, the system.
Yeah.
I got so confused travelling around.
Yeah, it's not good.
One island in particular, where I didn't know where the hell I was going. And I must have circled the same part about 10 times just to try and find the next objective. And it was about half an hour, and it's ridiculous. You shouldn't have...
That's the thing. When you're going through these planets, you should not feel like, okay, I have to go back now, and then you see all these enemies, and you shouldn't... in my head, I was like, oh, fuck.
I
want to be able to jump down and get stuck in and have the enjoyment of the combat.
There's one section on that same planet I was talking about where after you come back out, there are like gas pillars that you do something that unlocks, like there's flumes of smoke that you can jump into.
Jump up and fly
and there's
up,
actually a meditation point literally in front of this group of enemies, which isn't the best level design. You should never I know Dark Souls does it sometimes. Like I think in the first game there's that one of the very first bonfires near the bridge in Dark Souls, but that is away from them slightly. This is literally I think, and I don't think I'll get much argument here because I think I know the room, but as it stands, again, the posters behind Gaz, the Mass Effect 2 and 3 posters, right now we haven't officially had an announcement of the trilogy HD remaster. It's like the worst kept secret. Right now, if you could offer me a guaranteed announcement of that versus a new Star Wars game, and let's face it, we know they're making Jedi Fallen Order 2 or something. Respawn have actually just opened up a second studio which is dedicated just to Apex, so that obviously they're working on. But if you were to offer me the two, Mass Effect, without even
the thing is the Knights of the Old Republic are the best Star Wars games.
See, I've never played them. That is one of the biggest. But now, though, if I played them now,
no, they probably wouldn't have the same effect. But
that's what I thought.
I don't know what BioWare, if that would ever happen again.
What is BioWare? Full stop.
Exactly. But if they were to go down that route and and take what made those two so good, you would. I wouldn't say you would choose it over Mass Effect because Mass Effect's amazing. However, you would understand that there have been fantastic Star Wars games, and you're right. This is fan service. This is, the whiteboard, throwing everything at it. It's not taking into account what makes a good Star Wars game. And if you're trying to put the player in the shoes of a Jedi or a Sith, you do so with them having a decent amount of powers, but make it more about your interactions. Like the Knights of the Old Republic, you spent a lot of time talking to people and being a diplomat or pissing people off or whatnot. That was what actually made that world great, because you could go and interact with different characters on all these different worlds, and it felt more real, because they ain't always fighting Star Wars. A lot of it is all about
Chris,
politics.
actually, perfect question for you then. Obviously, you've played more Star Wars games than I. The last one I remember, what was the name of it? I think they re-released it on Switch recently. It was a PC game.
Oh,
it was Jedi Outcast.
No, Jedi Knight.
Jedi Knight, yeah.
Jedi Knight 2, was it? Jedi Knight 2?
Yeah, that was Jedi Outcast.
I remember playing that on PC, and that was, at the time, I loved that game. Now, whether that reviewed well at the time or was a popular game, I don't know. What the thing is I wonder why, because you just nailed it there. Wouldn't playing as a Sith be kind of cool now?
Oh, absolutely.
It would, but I think the problem is, especially now Disney own it.
Yeah,
they don't want you to be the bad guy.
That. Yeah,
I mean, look at. I don't know if it's a spoiler to say it now, but look at Battlefront 2. That. It's like, oh look, cool! I get to see the other side, and then you don't.
Is
that
worth just playing through the single player for, out of interest?
I think it's brilliant. I thought it was great fun. You get to see.
I never finished it
because I remember it being quite mixed.
I mean, I really enjoyed it, but the ending was a little bit mixed.
But didn't they add something?
They added like an epilogue where it's set.
Okay.
I forget how long later, but it's like 20 years later or something.
Is it long? By the way,
the whole thing.
No, the story.
It's about probably all together with the epilogue, maybe 8 hours. It's not.
Okay.
It's not a dead long game.
I just find myself wondering, because when you think about it, we don't get many big budget space games. Like I'm always going to come back to it because it's such a place for me in my heart. Dead Space. I just feel like it's a tragedy, and I'll be honest with you. I wish we hadn't mentioned BioWare, because when you think about BioWare, what you should think about is Mass Effect, is the amazing Dragon Age games. And unfortunately, I just feel kind of sad when I think about them now.
Yep.
Because that BioWare doesn't exist anymore. BioWare now is an EA studio, just happens to be called BioWare. I find that remarkably sad. But unfortunately, business is such that if people don't... I mean, surely the Mass Effect games... So, mind you, first Mass Effect was an Xbox-only game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
360 only.
Yeah.
It was much later they released it on PS3, didn't they?
I would, for the record, play it.
Was it PC after?
No,
Xbox?
I think PC came later. Yeah, I don't think it was at the same time. I'm not.
I can't remember.
Anyway,
it might have been PC, but either way, it was console exclusive to Xbox.
Yeah,
initially.
But as for Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order for me, I gave it another go.
Not for you.
It was a game I loved, but I can also see the flaws in it.
Yep.
Because I mean, it
maybe isn't for me. I'm not like this.
Yeah.
I know you and Chris are big Star Wars fans. I think Adam, you're a fan, but Chris and Gary are massive Star Wars fans. And for me, it just didn't. It didn't hit the beat. I will say the only other game I've played this week. You might want to hold on to your seats for this one, lads, because I haven't even put it on the running order there. But I played this game called Sea of Thieves.
Oh.
And I spent 3 hours playing Sea of Thieves when I only meant to play for about half an hour. And I am not here to say it's banging, they've fixed everything. However, they have added a great deal more content to that game. I still don't think it's any higher than a 7 out of 10. I'm sorry. I still don't think it's any higher than that. But it's there's nothing wrong with a 7 out of 10.
That apology was just directed directly at Nicola, wasn't it?
Yep, it was. I played with Chris Hyde one evening, and we just wanted to play alone because we wanted to just kind of rediscover and discover full stop what the game was. And then the next time we played with Nicola and Lyle, and to be fair, Nicola was a terrific coach in that she didn't just join and be like, oh, well, I'm just going to show you everything, because she knows that's not going to be fun. So she just let us... She basically sort of drove the ship for us and let us do the missions and discover it, sort of thing. And that was actually genuinely incredibly enjoyable. I mean, it's nice because chatting with, Nicola, Chris, and Lyle, they're my friends. So that and it is a really good game for that. Actually, I don't know why. I mean, Gary, I know you know that already, but it is because we played together before, and Chris, you as well. It is just a really good game for just. And I think the real key thing. Like, the absolute key to it was that I didn't have an experience like, Chris, you and I had in that first Red Dead Online session. Because when Chris Hyde and I started it, I had it in my mind, if we get on the ship and we go off and we get some treasure and then someone just ganks us and destroys it all, it's like, that will be me done with the game. I think that will be the finish of it. It didn't happen. And in the end, actually, we kind of ended up being the shitbags. But I was just following my captain. Nicola was my captain, and I was just following. She said, "Let's." And to be fair, that people in that game are either absolutely lovely or real nervous. They're real nervous because we just went over, and because I'd done something a bit naughty earlier. I just took one person's skull. It was just a skull. Like, I could have taken treasure chests. I just took one skull, and we took their boat and pushed it out to sea a little bit. But we left it alone after that.
Oh my god.
And didn't push it far. We just wanted to see if they noticed, and they did. And they didn't mind the skull was gone. And I was going to give the skull back. Nicola sold it. It's not my fault. I was going to do it. But because I felt bad, we found another ship later. And I just went over just to have a look, just to see what they were doing. And I found a chest in the sea. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get this chest. And I did. And I was swimming towards their ship, and I was going to put it on their ship. And it was kind of my way of rebalancing my karma. They shot me in the back and killed me twice.
Oh.
So... Well, maybe it was the same people, I don't know. But I actually want to dig into it more because the tall tales are quite cool. Interesting actual story things, threads to pull you from island to island, riddles, puzzles. And also fishing. Animal Crossing's ruined me. I expect fishing now to be hold a button, catch fish, done. And that's not how you fish in games. But that's all I've been up to, really. I think... You need to be playing a bit more Xenoblade Chronicles. Haven't. Gaz, what have you been up to?
Like you, have been going back to games because it was. I want to say it's the 10th anniversary of Alan Wake.
There's a lot of anniversaries actually last week. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw some stuff out. And I thought, you know what? I've got that on PC.
Yeah, I played it there recently.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to download because I had it on Xbox as well. But it's like, I know it'll run better on the PC.
It does.
And it looks great.
It actually does. Yeah.
And it runs really smooth as well on my PC, which is always an added bonus. But it's still a good game. And I am seeing now like some of the stuff which I don't think I really noticed when I originally played it. Like it's a bit one note. It's pretty much go here, get attacked by Taken, kill them, carry on, go next area, do the same thing. But there's something good about it. I think the gameplay itself still works. Yeah,
it's got style and atmosphere in spades.
Yeah, the story's really good, even though most of it makes no sense. But that's kind of the point. It's meant to be. I suppose it's a bit like Twin Peaks style, and it's bizarre shit that just shouldn't make sense in any way, so they don't even bother trying to make it make sense. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I've not finished it yet, but I forget how far into it. A couple of hours. But how sometimes you go, I'll replay it, then you get so far, I go, I can't bother, something else comes along, But I'm actually like, no, I'm going to keep playing it. I really am enjoying it. And I've also been replaying Uncharted 4. Don't know why I went
that
4.
One on. Yes, what brought on?
Yeah, I genuinely don't know that one.
Because Alan Wake, I get it. Like that, they released it as well, didn't they, for free somewhere?
Yeah,
Epic.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah,
the entire series was free there for whatever period of time.
But why Uncharted? What made you?
I genuinely, it was on my PS4.
Fair play.
It was one of those ones which I bought and then it went free not long after because it always seems to fucking happen to me. That
have you seen, by the way, on that note, have you seen what Epic Games are doing with that? This is a first. We don't do news, but it's worth mentioning. Epic are doing this thing where if you buy a game and then it goes on sale a bit later, they're actually giving like partial refunds on it.
That's not bad.
That's brilliant. Like that's. I mean, it's easy to say Epic are being super forward thinking when they're making billions on Fortnite, but they still are doing it. They don't have to. They are choosing to do it. I think that's cool. Because, like you say, how often does that happen? Or it's Game Pass, or it's
Yeah, I mean, it's to be fair, just sort of on the subject of the Epic Games stores, like the way they do the sales is like ridiculous. Because I ended up again, another one that I've gone back to. It's not on our list. Is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because I bought it on PC. Because they had it on their sale for like 16 quid something, but they also give you a £10 off.
I bet that looks good on PC.
It does. I mean, admittedly, it doesn't look as good as it does on my X. Like I had it on the X initially, but but I stopped playing, and I was like, I might as well sell it, and I got the money knocked off something else at the time, whatever it was. But I thought it basically cost me £6.50 on the PC.
That's a good price.
That's
the most recent one, right? Odyssey's,
yes.
Origins is the one before. Odyssey is the Cassandra one, right?
Yes. Yeah. I thought for that price, it's ridiculous. And I mean, it looks really nice, and it's fairly smooth. I had like the frame rate thing on, and it was like between 40 and 60 frames, like average sort of 40 to 50. So it's like it's not decent smooth. Anyway, I'm going off the point now. Uncharted 4.
Yes.
I forgot how much I hate the first half of the game. I really
I can't remember the first half of the game. Chris
has
just gone. Chris is just like hand over the. Yeah, Adam's done it as well. Why not?
It was, like, honestly. It's because.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Doesn't play on audio.
It's missing. It missed Amy Hennig. Because they just went, hey, look, let's make...
Adam is shaking his head repeatedly. Chris looks like he's ready to kill. That's Star Wars and Uncharted in one episode.
They just went, hey, let's make it like The Last of Us. And it's like, nobody buys Uncharted for stealth and survival
I will
shit.
admit that I don't know why they put stealth in the game.
Exactly. Because... It's like, it was... When they put it in... It was definitely in 3. I remember it being in 3.
Stealth was always kind of there.
It was always like a nice option.
You jump down, you'd have a group of enemies, and you'd go around the walls, you just drag them over. It's always kind of been there.
It's always, but there was so much more focus in this one. It's not as fun. But when you do actually get into it and you start the shooting and the action, it's still good fun, and the story's good.
How does it look visually? Because at the time, Chris, did I review it? I think I reviewed it.
You reviewed it, yeah.
I think I did, and it was one of my favourite games that year. But I do remember, it was on a Pro, and it made the things like most first-party exclusives. It makes the thing absolutely scream. Jet Engine. I think it was one of. I think actually that might have been the game that made me buy a new Pro.
It was.
I think because it was like, this is unbelievable, and I was getting headaches from the. I have really sensitive hearing, and the high-pitched fan noise hurts. Gives me quite severe headaches. But I do remember it looked incredibly good. Like, and I wonder how. It wasn't that long ago, was it? When was it? 2 years?
2017?
Don't say it's like 4 years or something. Cause...
So, no, 2000. Wait,
I can't remember.
Horizon was 2017.
No, because remember they released the other one afterwards. Oh God, what was
Lost
it called?
Legacy.
Lost Legacy, which was
2016.
No, it wasn't.
Wow.
It was 2016.
Holy shit.
2016. Because
you wouldn't think it though, because it does look really good. I mean, it doesn't. From what I can see, it doesn't have like full 4K support. Because I think it must have been.
I thought they added it.
They definitely added HDR because that's on there.
That's what it is.
I mean, that's spot on. All that lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good game. I'm going to keep playing it because I know it gets.
You may have made me just think about downloading that again and playing through that.
I'm actually. That's the game. Uncharted 4 is the game I've played the most ever.
Do you know? Do you know the? I think Chris, you'll know. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a moment in that game where Nathan Drake has a PlayStation controller. I'll say no more than that. Yeah. And I think I've said this before. I'm not one of these. I sometimes see people tweet stuff like these vague embargo breaking things. I've never had a problem with that. If it's under embargo, shut your mouth. When your review's up, whatever, all bets are off. Or once the NDA's lifted, whatever. I've never had a problem with that. Ooh. But that moment,
it's genius.
I just remember just being like, like I can't. And I was like, I can tell nobody. I can tell nobody about this. And but my wife, and she's just going to look at me like, what are you talking about? I don't care. And rightly so. But I just remember being like, are they going to? And they do. And it's like, and oh God. Hey, you can call people a fanboy of Naughty Dog if you want for that sort of stuff, but they know what they're doing. And that's why when all this Last of Us stuff broke out, yes, but then if you break any plot down the way that had been done, I still have faith in them delivering.
Oh, of course they will.
And we are, at time of recording now, less than a month away from The Last of Us 2. Which means it's been 4 years then since a full Naughty Dog game has been released.
Yeah.
I mean, because Lost Legacy must have been the year after, right?
Yeah. Yeah, about 6 hours as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love that, by the way.
I mean, I've got that to play as well, so I'll probably go straight.
Have you played that before?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
Stunning game. But, well, all of them are. All the Uncharted games are brilliant.
To be fair.
I'm well into playing it again. It's just fighting my way through, like that first half. I had a similar thing whenever I've replayed. You remember, the Tomb Raider reboot they did.
Yeah.
Like the first hour of that, I hated it because it was just
one?
like, hey, sorry.
The first Tomb Raider, or like Tomb Raider or Rise, or is it just like
the first reboot they did? Yeah,
more recent one.
Because it's just like that first hour is just like QTE after QTE, and it's just like, please stop and just let me play the fucking game.
But then Rise came out, and it was just like.
I mean,
but then the third one came out, and it was like,
and then it was.
Oh
like
God, don't get me started on that. I still think the first one was the best. Like gameplay wise, Rise, is the better one, but I think the story and everything, the setting, of that first one was just.
I did love Rise though. That game was fucking banging. I've just realised this moment. I think I've been thinking so much about The Last of Us Part 2. I've just realised I wouldn't be upset if they did a new Uncharted.
Oh my God!
I don't think it would need to be Uncharted 5. It would need to be like Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
I think they've told Drake's story. It's kind of now you do like what they've done with Lost Legacy. Move on to a different character.
Yeah, Dan and Sully.
Sully.
They go off together, don't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember we
get
had
Troy
that chat,
Baker
didn't we?
back. Yeah, and get them to.
You also have the potential, if they wanted to, with how 4 ends, like what they could do there with a certain family member and stuff. But like I always say, like I've said this day one, like, and I know people will probably say no, I go Last of Us, but Uncharted 4 to me is my favourite Naughty Dog game by a mile. Like I know it's like
fantastic.
People are like, oh, Last of Us is the one, but like 4 the set pieces and the action parts that come into it, the music, the voice acting, the story, it has everything in a video game that's just like, for me personally. And like I'm actually, when I saw you going on about it, guys, I was like, I think this is due the 6th playthrough now. So I'm going to probably do that very soon.
For me, it's still the first Uncharted. I think it just holds a special place. Yeah, I loved that one, and the story in that, again, brilliant. And it was just the way they introduced the characters and stuff. Two,
but it's rough. It hasn't aged that great.
Not that bad.
I played it not that long ago on the. I know the what's it called? The collection that they did.
Drake
kind
collection.
of they essentially made it play like 2.
Yeah, that's
right. Because
the
original game you had to select, like, I think grenades separately and shit like that, whereas you can just launch and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean,
the pacing of 2 and 3 and 4, then you see like how 2 even starts off with the train or the carriage, like, and he's hanging off it and so all those moments are just like, I think I vividly remember the first time playing Uncharted 2 and getting that opening and being like, holy smokes, unreal. And like, if you think back to Uncharted 1, I remember going, look at that water. Do you know, that's what I took out. That water looked damn good for me. You know,
I would pinpoint in Uncharted 3 the moment where the boat is on the side and the water's coming through.
Yeah.
I think I reviewed that for the site, and I remember that was one of those moments, like, where it's again pre-released. It's like, this is another level of graphics. And I think in 4, is it 4 where you get chased through town by the truck?
Yeah.
and that is like, wow, I'm gonna have to replay this game.
But three has the whole plane sequence where you're running after it and stuff, and it just like it still looks unreal. Like it's just absolutely amazing. But they're the moments that you play Uncharted for.
I think the thing that I loved about those games is the fact that they're not cutscenes. No. You're still playing when all that shit happens, and it's like when I think it's Uncharted 2 when you're in a building as it's falling down, and you're still playing. You're still having to shoot guys that are trying to kill you while you're sliding down this floor that's just sort of doing this. And it's so good.
Do you know what's still an unreal moment as well is like the opening of 3 with Sully and Nate going into the bar and having the fight. It's like it's the first time where like, because I only went back to it recently, and like there's so many great moments of like Nate just picking up a glass and smashing it, and then he drags a fella along the toilet and stuff and slams him down, and all these scenes they play out so well as if you did it as the player. Do you know, it's just designed so well, those kind of parts. Oh, what a series.
Yep. On that note, Gaz, anything else you've been playing?
That's about it, really.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine. Mr. White, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? So I've done a few reviews. Nothing.
You played What the Golf? I'm so happy another human being I can speak to has played that damn game.
I have played What the Golf.
Do you understand now why I was like last year? Oh, maybe we need to consider this game. It's not a golf game.
I'm annoyed that I haven't played this already. It's superb in every way. Like there's piece. It's so easy to actually play.
Yeah.
You literally aim your arrow, fire, power it up, fire. Well, you're not firing a golf ball all the time.
Well, literally the first hole you are, and that's it then, isn't it?
Yeah, you're a cowboy spitting at a golf pole. You're a car riding down a course. The
football ones are fun. The football ones are great fun.
Yeah. Portal guns from
Portal guns. Yep.
The Super Hot reference was phenomenal.
Flappy Golf. Well, Flappy Bird.
Golf. Mario. Metal Gear.
Everything's in this.
Guitar Hero. Yeah. The Guitar Hero track. Oh my god. But it's just the courses are so quick. They don't last very long, but you can go from one to the other without getting bored. Each hole has 3 layers to it. So the first one will be the standard hole for that. And the next one will be like, you have to do it in a certain time or you have to reach par. And then the next one might be a completely different course or hole based on the original, but it might flip it. So you're playing as something completely different in that level. And it's just amazing. It doesn't last very long if you just want to go from hole to hole.
Yep.
There's at least 60 holes, but maybe more. And then each one has their own like set of 3. And the laboratory you go around and it's filled with little Easter eggs and stuff and like secret areas. Just a lot of fun. So yeah, What the Golf. I can't believe I missed it, to be honest.
To be fair, you didn't have an Apple device, and it was Apple Arcade, wasn't it?
Oh, there you go. So it wasn't my fault.
And PC, and then you didn't have a PC to play games.
I played it initially on PC.
Yeah.
I didn't play a lot of it, but I played enough to be like, this is fun. And it's
just
fucking
lovely.
It's bananas.
It is. It's just lovely. Like I vividly remember I don't know if you've got this far, Gaz, but the one where you have to kind of throw the person off the couch into the golf hole, and like say the football ones and like the dynamite stuff, and it's just. Actually, Chris, on Switch, has it still got? There's a little mode on the main menu. You may have not even noticed it. Actually, it's something like called Show Your Friends. And it's a mode where basically you click it and it just shows you like it's like a greatest hits. If you like, what is this game? You just go, here you go, and it's like
it's still on there. Yeah,
that's great. That's a great idea.
It's got like there's a thing called the Impossible Challenge as well, which was probably on the PC and Apple, which is like
don't remember that.
It's like at the end of the main menu, and it's a collection of a load of the courses that you've played just ramped up or changed slightly.
I don't think I tried
harder.
That.
So you just keep playing it until you do it, but obviously you lose a life every time you do it, and by the end of it, you show your ranking against everyone else in the world. But yeah, What the Golf's great. I played Super Mega Baseball 3, which I can't even talk much about because I don't know a lot about baseball, but I know the basics. It's not like other than American sports.
Is it super and mega, Chris?
It is super. And it is a bit mega, yeah. Actually,
what I found interesting is in your review.
I really liked it.
You mentioned how it's quite realistic.
Yeah.
Which I haven't played one since the first game.
Yeah.
They've definitely moved in a different direction from what that first game is. It was more of a arcadey cartoon daftness.
Yeah.
Although saying that, it's kept that because some of the names.
Yeah. It's kept.
What was that Japanese name? Because I had to read that out for the video review, and I felt
Hito
I wanted
Moonshota or something.
Yeah,
no, it's
Moonshota.
Moonshota and mashed taters.
Yeah, and I wanted to do the accent, but for obvious reasons I didn't. But it's definitely intended for you to think of it in that kind of English way, isn't it? Hito Moonshota. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Naughty developers, cheeky developers, you little scamps.
No, definitely.
They know.
But it's very realistic, but it's very grounded. There's not a lot of layers to it, so you can learn to play it after a while. And some of the elements aren't as great. The batting's superb. You get a lot of control on where you place the ball. Pitching as well, you've got a lot of different types of pitches you can do depending on your pitcher and how good they are. You can throw curveballs to confuse your batter. You've got slides. You've got all sorts, like fastballs. It all depends on what you want to do. And the stats are all very different to each player. So you've got that you can research your opposition and see what will go well against each person. And so there's a lot of depth to it, despite the game being very kind of basic when you're playing. The customization is a lot of fun. You can create, you say with all these players we're talking about, you can change their names, change their appearance. You make everyone on your team a man, anyone a woman. You can change them to be mixed. It doesn't really matter. I was in the game. I created myself. I was tempted to do the God is Geek team, but I thought that would probably take me longer to do that than the actual review. So, but it's just got a lot of fun. So if I was expecting NBA Jam but baseball.
And that's what the first game kind of was.
Yeah,
Not
it was.
quite that, but kind of.
I remember dabbling with it, and I played the second for about half an hour, but then I thought, right, let's get this done, and I really enjoyed it. So it was a big improvement. And then I played a game called Get Packed, which
I played a bit of that too, and
it's basically.
I mean, fuck.
It's similar to because I was only talking about moving out. Moving out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
The house removal one. It is similar. There's a lot of different mechanics, but it looks the same.
The initial.
Oh, absolutely.
The art style, the kind of jauntiness, why are there so many of these games all of a sudden? Because Lyle's just covered a game called Cannibal Cuisine, which is an Overcooked, and it's all of a sudden that's kind of co-op thingy has become real popular.
Weird, but I mean, this is this is the first game second game I played on Stadia. Yeah,
it's the first game we've reviewed on Stadia.
First game we've reviewed, and it's very good. You're never going to find anyone to play it with. No, I tried for a long time to get to play, but obviously no one's got one. So I was playing just in the house. But it's a lot of fun. When you're with other people, you've got the same goal to get as much of your furniture into the truck, but each player can be individually rewarded. So there's that competitive edge rather than working together. There's certain items that need to be picked up to get bonuses and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's good, but it's not. It won't do well at the minute. It will move on to other consoles,
but it's an exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, so it will move on.
Let's talk about Stadia, though. I'm intrigued to get your thoughts because mine is a bit of a non-starter for me, right? Because I played a bit of I forgot the name of the game. Was it called Get Packed? Which seemed fine. Like you say, I didn't play enough of it to have a proper opinion, but I just wanted to see how Stadia worked. And I did a speed test before I started Stadia, and I've got very good internet. And then straight away it goes, your internet is not stable enough. And I'm like, lads, come on now! This is one of the best speeds you can get in a home internet. It's not business, but it's close.
Well, no, yours is the same as mine, and I had the same issue on my.
Oh, okay, but then you click play anyway, and it was fine. But then I thought, well, hang on, this isn't what I want to do with Stadia. I don't want to play Stadia on my PC. I've got a PC for that. So I downloaded the Stadia app on my iPhone and thought, a couple of nights I'm going to sit down and just play it on my phone. You can't. You can't play Stadia games on your iPhone yet.
You're not?
No, I think it's only Android.
Oh, because I've got an Android, so I was
But
playing...
what's the fucking point of having an app on iPhone if you
I
can't
don't know.
like,
I assume you would.
I mean, I don't think I've got it installed now. I'll try and do it on camera while you're talking, Chris.
Yeah, no, it's all right. So
I've deleted the Stadia app. That says
it all,
everything.
really.
I'm going to try and download it live on camera. Hang on, carry on, Chris.
But it's a decent enough platform. But like, I mean, and the sales, like there's a current sale on, and there's a lot of stuff that is kind of reminiscent of the Epic Store, like price wise. But if you've got a PC or a console, I don't know why you would need this, because you've got 2 months free. So it's cool if you can play games on your phone. I thought it was decent, like because I downloaded Zombie Army 4. Well, not downloaded. I collected that because obviously,
of course, because it's the premium.
You choose what games you want to stream. So Zombie Army 4 and Thumper, and this. But the free games are very limited. I thought there were a lot more. There's not a lot, especially when you would eventually pay the $8.99 for the service. There's not a lot on there. So. I mean, the quality is fast. It works very well. Yeah.
So, again, this is terrible for audio. So watch us on YouTube for this one bit. So there you can see I've downloaded the app, and this just in the middle there is how you play, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So you've got that same screen. If I'll do it now. I'll hit that button, and I get this message: find a way to play.
That's mental.
Like, to play on a TV, set up Chromecast Ultra. To play on a laptop or desktop computer, go to Stadia.com or a Chrome browser. To play on a phone, install the Stadia mobile app on a supported mobile device. I don't know if I'll try and...
It kind of makes no sense, does it?
Why
like, find a way to play. I thought I fucking had.
But like, I can look at the store. Like, there's Doom 64.
Here's what you could be playing.
Yeah, I mean, I can explore.
It's very much that way, isn't it?
I don't think you
Here's
can
what
buy
you could have
games
won.
on there. You can. That's interesting. You can buy the game there, look. But why would I want it when I can't play it on my phone?
Weird. That is strange.
I thought that was really odd. I wondered if that's just an iOS thing, but it is. Because what?
No.
I figured the app's out. I'll be able to play it. But I mean, it's the end of the world. I am not the target audience for Stadia at all. And none of us are, I don't think.
No.
But it would have been cool.
I'm not sure I know who the target audience is.
That's a fair comment.
I don't know one person that's playing it either. I don't know anyone on.
In fact, I think you and I are the first people I know to even discuss playing it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Other than that, I've been dabbling I've dabbling like online kind of games. I've been playing Far Cry 5 with my dad.
Okay.
Gone back to that because we've played it before together, but we're playing through it again together just because I mean, you know what it's like. You like online. It's a lot of fun, Far Cry 5.
Definitely.
So I've been playing that, and then I've been spending quite a lot of time on Fortnite.
Okay.
With my daughter.
Okay.
Who's actually very good.
Oh, they are. Kids are good at that game.
I was surprised.
Yep.
Like because the first game we had, because she's been playing on the Switch, I've been playing on the PlayStation. So she's like when I'm playing some at another time, she's just sat on there like flicking between Animal Crossing and Fortnite and stuff like that. So she's been playing it quite a while, but I've never really seen her play it. And then the first time we land, she's like saying, "No, there's two people after me," and I'm like, "Are you all right? I'm coming for you." And she's like, "No worries, I've killed him." I'm like, yeah, like she's good. So she's good to have on the team, and it's something nice that we could do together. So yeah, been playing that. But other than that, I've been kind of chilling out. Not much else.
That's fun.
Fortnite's got really good actually. I played it again fairly recently,
yeah.
and I mean, we played it, didn't we? I think
ages
we streamed it.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah,
ages ago. It's like it was fun, but I don't know. It didn't grab me. But I've been playing it a bit more recently, like the last couple of months, and it's so much more accessible. Like I've actually been getting wins and stuff now, which never happens. So yeah, and but it's so much more accessible, so much more fun now.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Adam, the Xbox man.
Pro. Here we go.
Been back on that Pro Xbox.
On that. Yeah, I'll run through quickly. Just 3 games I'm playing. I'm still on PlayStation. I'm going through Assassin's Creed Origins. Again, I'm going for the platinum on that. It's really funny.
That sounds time consuming.
Not particularly, no, not this one. If you're doing Odyssey, yes. Origins is Origins is the better of those two. Like it is just a better game. Like visually, it's still kind of on the same path. They both look great and stuff, but Origins is just more compact. Like Odyssey is far too big. And then obviously, have you seen where it only came out like I think yesterday, where they were saying that Valhalla wasn't going to be
I've seen that story.
And now they've said it is bigger.
They've mapped all of Sweden and a bit of Norway or something.
Yeah. No, look.
Yeah.
Depending on what they put into that game, all right, fair enough. But like Odyssey, like when you play Odyssey, it's just like icons everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I like those games a lot. I like the collecting, but this just becomes a joke. It never stops. Do you know what I mean? But Origins, a lot of people right now are going through Origins, which is kind of interesting. Like Assassin's Creed games in general, people are going back to. It's definitely because of Valhalla, but like, it's interesting because there's just love for that series. But it's like people just don't really express it in a weird way. Like, you know, I think when I've been playing
Origins, fallen off. Definitely, because people used to be like, they used to love Assassin's Creed, and now it's kind of like, yeah, it's good, but I'm not really telling people that I like it for some reason. Yeah, I mean, I've never really been into it. It was only really Odyssey was the first one I played. I was like that I really liked. Like I hated Black Flag, which everyone was like, it's the best one. I was like, oh, fucking. I
actually think we're playing it right now. I think Origins might be my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Like I've played them all. But like,
I think you're right. You know, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, but none of them are really Assassins games anymore. Like they cling to that name because that name has cachet. But like even in the Valhalla trailer, which by the way I'm well up for that game. That looks great.
Like that gameplay, Adam. That gameplay.
When the blade comes out at the end, it's like it wasn't even used in a stealthy way. Like it was kind of subterfuge, but.
Yeah, that was so good, that trailer.
It was a great trailer. I'm not arguing that, but like it is
weird. It could have been for any game. It's like the end of the game. Shit, we best get the Assassin's Blade out just so they know it's part of Assassin's Creed.
I mean, Ghost of Tsushima, they showed the actual gameplay, by the way. That, to me, I wondered afterwards, was that like a bit of a up yours to Xbox of like, yes, gameplay.
Yeah, I thought that.
And they just showed it was nout but gameplay, as they say up north, correct, lads? Output gameplay. And it was. And I mean, we should touch on it very briefly. I am in that game. I think that game looks like somewhere between Days Gone and Horizon Zero Dawn, somewhere in the middle of those two.
I thought it looked very Assassin's Creed.
Very Assassin's Creed too. But in terms of visuals, that game is what might get, because you don't get games like that, aside from Horizon Zero Dawn, that are that colourful and pretty. I think actually the bizarre thing about that gameplay was I thought it looked amazing until they showed the stealth, which looked like Gaz said, looked like Assassin's Creed stealth, and there was a weird bit of AI they showed in it that's like, you don't have to show that, right? You could do that.
Is that bit where you had like this archer just stood facing the wall? Like
they could have. I mean, we're in a really weird situation where there is probably they have their team that can capture from the build of the game that they're happy to show. I've seen people recently complaining that Nintendo have said, like for example, they're not doing any more Nintendo Directs for the foreseeable. But that's very, to me anyway, maybe it's because I have some inside knowledge. It's pretty obvious why so like you see in the Xbox stuff, and it's like people on webcams that don't even look and sound as good as this podcast right now. Yeah. Nintendo are never ever going to do that. Never. Yeah. Not as an official, this is our thing. They're just not going to put out some shaky webcam footage.
I think that's why they released that trailer for the new Mario.
That. They can still and will still do that. Yeah. But they are not going to do a direct where someone is on a shaky webcam that's smeared in Vaseline, that is on a headset mic like this. You know, the sounds.
I know why Microsoft are doing it. They're doing it that they have. Hey, we're like you. We're just like you guys. And but you're not really.
You're not, and you've got the money to sound a bit better. But then also Sony are doing the same thing. But then people angry at Sony not showing the PS5. But of course they're not. They've still got The Last of Us next month, and then Ghost of Tsushima the month after to promote. They're not going to show you the shiny new tech when they've got two big games still to come out.
Just to quickly go back to Ghost, I think like when I watched it, like I'm so up for that game. It's definitely my bag as well. But like, I don't. I think it's really weird. Like when I was watching it, and the guys were explaining what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's really weird to sit there and go, I know everything that's happening before you tell me.
Uh-huh.
Like,
because it's one of those games, isn't it?
You can see like when they're in the camps, like the ammo refill stacks. It has that little like shiny glare going up and down. Like, okay, that's where I'm going. They don't even tell you that, but you can see everything before it was told. So it's going to be interesting. But I think it's just the tone of that game, and it's like style is what's going to really sell it. I feel like when I played Sekiro, knowing that Ghost was on the way as well, I was like, I think I'm going to be more up for Ghost because like I just want to play a samurai game in an easier format, I feel.
Well, Adam, here's a question for you before you go back to the games you're playing. Yeah. I'm going to be there's a question coming up that is particularly, sorry, that's my doorbell going off, that is particularly cruel.
Question time!
Yeah, I don't know if that will come on the mic, but there's someone else there. But I'm going to give you a question, right? Adam's got an interesting situation as well now. I'm going to give you a question that is cruel, like one of the questions we've got for listener correspondence. If you could right now have only one of the two, Ghost of Tsushima or the new Paper Mario.
Oh dear.
The other one's gone. Doesn't exist anymore. Because of all the shadow drops, that trailer was like, what? That was such a happy little situation for me.
That was a creepy trailer.
It is. But those games have some good writing, Gaz. Those games have always got good writing. But Adam, you're stalling. You can only have one.
I think I'm going to go Ghost.
What?
I think I'm just going to say Ghost because, like, I've been let down by previous Paper Mario titles. So if I got this Paper Mario title and it was rubbish, I'd be like...
I think it's fine. I've no... Carry on. What have you been playing? I can't...
Yeah. I'll see. Like, we'll see. Where was I? Origins, yeah. So I'm playing that. It's fantastic. Everyone should go back to Origins. It's amazing. It's got a great open world. Story's fantastic. Great character. Combat's a lot of fun. So I'm doing that. I played Untitled Goose Game. Just it was on the Game Pass. I was like, let's give it a bash, right? That game looks fantastic. I think it looks. I don't know,
lovely.
like I wouldn't say it's like a mixture of like Wallace and Gromit, Postman Pat coloured in or something. It's like really strange, really really fun kind of game. I can't say like I was like, this is unreal. This moment is serious. Look at that goose grabbing those keys. Wow. Like, it's kind of like, I think the checklist thing is quite fun to achieve, like, because you read the checklist before each map, whatever, and you kind of go and you see this guy walking around, it's like, oh, get him to put on the wrong pair of glasses, and you're like, what? And then he's like untying the shoelaces for him to bend down and take his glasses off, and the way those kind of work out is very funny, and it's not what I expected this game to be. I actually thought going into this game that I was going to be playing a kind of an Octodad kind of thing.
Right.
Where it was like, oh, the mechanics are just funny. That thing, and you play it for like an hour and off you go. This is actually quite humorous in how you get onto the next part of the world, let's say, is enjoyable, like, because when you achieve all those objectives and then like the gate is open, it's just hilarious watching this goose take away off, and he's like, caused havoc back there, onto the next area, gonna ruin this person's life. So that's kind of
anyone just listening to this is missing out.
I'm missing so much.
I know, yeah, I get into all my actions, all my goose actions. But like it's an enjoyable little game. And then I finally got to play Tacoma, which is Fulbright's last game, which came out I think maybe 2 years ago at this stage. Chris, you reviewed it. You gave it a 9.5.
Did I?
You did.
Shit.
You did. I like going back reading our reviews like that, you know. But you gave it a 9.5, and
It was 2017, by the way.
2017.
Wow.
I think everything that you said in your review, if you can remember, I'm absolutely on point with. So previously to this, they did Gone Home, which I consider their masterpiece. Like, they only have the two games, but like Gone Home is out of this world good. It's one of my favorites. Tacoma does a very different thing where you're playing as the character Amy, who has this job of going onto a space station called Tacoma, where a crew of 6 have previously been on, and something has happened, and as Amy you have to uncover like what has gone down. And how you do that is the character Amy has this AR kind of gadget, I suppose, where when you walk into the room you can expose this scene of the other members who were previously there, but in a kind of a hologram form. It's like this, like they're like a bright pink color, there's a bright blue color human, but you don't see their faces or anything like that. You do see pictures of the characters when you look through like documents and things like that to get more of an image in your head. And what you end up doing is a bar comes up at the bottom of the screen, and you have to basically play through the scene and listen to each person's conversation. But what it does so well is every character, when they're talking, so say there's 4 people talking, 2 people might go off into another room. You can stay and hear out these other 2 people hear their conversation, but then you can rewind back the thing and follow the other 2 that just left and hear what they have to say. And it's how this like Fulbright just do great writing, I think, anyway. And in Tacoma, it's in Gone Home definitely, and Tacoma is very strong in its writing department. It's just an interesting way of doing things. But I think what blew my mind was the game is a short enough playthrough. You can get through it, I'd say, about 2.5 hours, 3 hours maybe.
Yeah.
Similar to Gone Home.
Similar to Gone Home. What blew my mind is the voice acting. The voice acting is...
It is good, yeah.
It is so good. But it's the fact that you have these characters dealing with like very personal situations. Like one minor thing as an example is you got this, there's this couple, and both of them are kind of like, they're kind of like keen to just get back home and just have their life together, and the other one's trying to convince, oh, 1 more year, let's stick it out and stuff. And so you have this like personal situation happening with these 2, and then you go over here and there's another character who is trying to stay strong, but then when she's on her own, she's way more vocal and she's panicking, she's freaking out, and then she'll go back into the group and try to stay strong again. So you got all these emotions going along. But it's so unbelievable that Fulbright have captured like all these characters in this, like, as I said, hologram jelly form. So you don't see any faces, but you completely relate to them in the colour that they are. Like, because when you open their like let's say iPads or whatever they're holding in their tablets, like you hack into them and you can see their pictures and stuff, but like you don't relate to the pictures as much as the way they look in the game as the hologram. It's very bizarre how it's done. And you kind of, that's really the bones of the game. There's obviously way more of a story that unfolds and all that, and it's very satisfying using the AR kind of element. But then unfortunately it's like they just decide to kind of go, let's wrap it up, and just that's it. You end up getting handed this like kind of like, ooh, cool, it's getting a bit full on here now, and then before you know it, boom, game is done. And that is one of the things, when I finished, I went back and read your review, Chris, and you said a similar thing, that the ending just kind of does not land, which is it's a real shame, because I feel like in Gone Home, the way that ends, from how it's like the way it's building, because that's what they do so well, is they build extremely well in Gone Home, and then the ending is like, whoa.
I don't think I'll forget that ending.
It's just like,
so well done.
Yeah, because the pacing and the tone and the atmosphere that's built in Gone Home, you do not expect the ending to be what it is. Tacoma is like, it gives you an ending, but you want more. You just want you want to know more of where this has what has happened here. Yeah. But overall, it's still a great experience. Like, it's on Game Pass. Like, you just download it there, and like, it's definitely worth a shot. I just want them to release a new game. I went checking afterwards, and I didn't see
nothing.
Like, I don't know what they're doing at all. I saw on their...
No announcement, is there?
There's no announcement. On Twitter, they were advertising like some jobs or something like that. Like, I think like maybe last year. But you know, like, Tacoma is now 2 years or something, 2-3 years, and it's like, I want another Fulbright game. Just give it to me now. You know, it's really good. But as it stands, that is everything I've played.
Fair play, mate. Let's get into some listener correspondence. This one is from Thomas McInnes. I don't have an answer for this, so hoping one of you guys... No, I do. Hang on. So, do you ever hear a song and think that song would really fit in a particular game? His example is TTF's Something For Me. He thinks it would have been a perfect fit for Streets of Rage. Do you have any examples?
What's TTF?
I think he sent me this song. I think it's kind of a kind of synthwave...
Okay.
Retro sort of sounding. It does sound like the Streets of Rage soundtrack.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I'd go for something like a 1975 song, like somebody like you. They're very like even one of their new songs, like If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know, has got massive 80s synth vibes to it, and it's layered with just layers and layers of reverb and like synth effects and stuff like that. Again, would fit into any cyber. A lot of their music would fit into a cyberpunk game.
It's a really good question, but it's actually quite difficult.
It's a difficult one.
The kind of songs that I would think of for these kind of games anyway would be like, if you take Life is Strange and stuff like that, I end up hearing like 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins or something like that coming into those kind of games. But like most of the time, I'm very happy with whatever music is in games.
I was thinking about the Last of Us soundtrack recently, and either I've misremembered it or I had a really weird situation where I was really tired one night and had someone been talking about it in Discord, I think, in our Discord or Patreon. And that and I just came out and picked up a guitar and started playing, and I'd never played it before, but it was so crystal clear in my head that I played a dodgy version of it.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of it's ukulele, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like that soundtrack to me is one of my all-time favorites, and I don't know if you watched this.
The concert.
There's a concert, but
I still haven't watched that.
I can't remember what. No, there's another behind this. Recently, there's a new Last of Us 2 video coming out behind the scenes thing, right? But it's not in that one. It's the one where the video that Neil Druckmann is actually saying that. The game's gone gold and stuff, and he goes, it's until you play it and blah blah, but he ends up mentioning the music, and he goes, the music. Like, it was kind of interesting because everything he was saying was like, Last was 2, it's this and this and this, and he goes, you got this, it's until you see the visuals and what we've done in the story and the character and the music, and then he goes, the music, and I was like, yes, because like the music it's so emotional, and it's one of those scores that I love because you can throw it on and it can be in the background. You can do whatever you want. Like it's for the most part chilled. You can listen to some scores and some fucking track midway through is going absolutely crazy with strings and stuff, and you're like, oh god, turn that down a small bit. Do you know what I mean? Last of Us is just so well balanced. But I don't know how we got into that. We just ignored Thomas's question there, I feel. But
I mean, I could cheat and say like Mirror's Edge, Churches were perfect for that game.
Yeah. Yeah,
See, I like Churches. I just think of Forza Horizon now.
That's good. Good.
There's one of their songs I think in every game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Death Stranding, Churches. At the end of that game.
Just Death Stranding in general, Chris. Shit,
yeah.
Oh, Adam.
Should we move on, or someone got an answer?
No.
He's got another question for you. Start with you, Chris, on this one. Here's a hypothetical Twitter-style question about misery. You have to give up all but one of these things. So you get to keep one of these things.
Okay.
What do you choose? The list is crisps, music, films, games, chocolate, books, or cheese. It's not easy, I will grant you. And I texted him later to say, what's wrong with you? Because I know my answer, but it's.
I would keep music,
and that's also my answer. I could not live without music. I would be miserable without all of those things. I think. Well, books less so these days, but I would be miserable without music.
Yeah,
like. Music has the ability you can listen to a song you haven't listened to in a while and you can be in tears, and it's not tears because of sadness, it's just cathartic, and like nothing else makes you feel that way. I couldn't live without music. Like if I lost my hearing, Jesus Christ, touch wood, Adam, I'm guessing it's music for you.
I'm actually films. Yeah. I'll tell you why. Because you get music in films.
Wouldn't be, though. Wouldn't be music in them. The music wouldn't exist.
What? It would. It'd have to.
I mean, it doesn't say it doesn't exist. It just
Doesn't
says
say
you
that.
have to
It's not in
give
the
them
question.
up.
Cut him
You
out.
just wouldn't be able to buy the soundtrack or
Cut him
anything like
out.
that.
So you would give up music for film music? I think you're lying.
No, I know.
That's the face of a liar.
I don't think I could live without films. Like, I just couldn't. Like, there's music is just unreal. We all know it. But like, the level of emotion that film like affects me on is like, especially ones that I truly love, is like, it's like I can always rely on it. Whatever mood I'm in, I'm like, oh, throw this on. Like, music has to suit all different moods and stuff like that. But I don't know. I spend way too much fucking time watching movies.
Okay. Gary?
I think I'm with Adam there. I'd keep films.
Chris, if I
I
could
watched-
offer my hand, if only your wife or something could come from the other angle and just like... In fact, Chris, hang on. Chris, if you could offer me your hand... No, it doesn't work. You can still see my arm. But like the other day, Biffy Clyro released a new song, and they're not a band I would associate with me like welling up, but they released this song, and it's a fucking banger. Like I don't find there's bands in their situation, which is to say they are stadium fillers now and massive. You know, what was it that did? Someone covered them, didn't they? It was a shit cover because it was like the same song, but that
Many of Horror.
Many of Horror, yeah, like yeah, I don't know who did it, some cunt. But they brought it into like they brought it into like they brought them into the mainstream as well, as if they weren't already.
That fucked me off. Just because by that point they'd had so many good songs and albums. That in an arena they can play the heavy stuff, but you can have Simon just stood there with a guitar playing like Folding Stars, which is one of them.
But I tell you, the last time I saw Biffy, like it was just last year. That was my 11th time seeing them.
I've never seen them live. They're one band I've never seen live, and I don't think they translate to TV live very well.
No,
this was
seen
just.
them live.
You have?
It was only actually when they were on before Linkin Park. Like, I went to see Linkin Park, and they were one of the.
But
when was that?
All right, calm down. That's all right. Jesus,
Where was I?
No, because I
It was at the MEN. It was many years ago.
I went to see them at Reading, and they were playing before Linkin Park. So that was
Right.
But like, am I wrong there? Because like I say, I love the band. My wife loves the band. I think my kids even like them. But I will say, having never seen them live, I don't think they come across as a good live band on telly. Whereas I always get the feeling watching them like, Christ, I bet if I was there, this would be incredible.
Well, that's the thing. See, like when I saw Biffy like first time ever, it was like 250 cap venue. And it was just like old scatty Biffy, like, and it was still just so unreal, right? And but now when you got this new Biffy where it's like stadium anthemic rock anthems, basically is what they're after writing now. The last year when I saw them, it was just like outdoors. I was looking around, everyone was singing, and you know, like Many Horrors, that kind of tune where I'm just like, oh, go away, don't care now. I've just heard it so goddamn much, you know. But then you hear with the crowd, you're like, okay.
Yep.
This is
similar thing happened. Like even I like the band Travis.
Mountains live. Oh.
Mountains, yeah. Like, I'll tell you what, the acoustic version. Well, I say acoustic, it's a piano version, isn't it? But that the subdued version of Mountains it's got another vocalist on it as well. And it's really good. But like even Travis, when they do like Why Does It Always Rain on Me, which again is a bit, for me, it's a bit like Manic's Design for Life. Yeah. And it's like I have heard. I mean, the Manic's Design for Life I have heard in person live over 20 times, you know. But something about being there. But that song, Tiny Indoor Fireworks, like I liked their stuff on their recently released stuff. But that song, for some reason, the sheer sort of volume of it, along with the bounce from the bass, and and this is massively off topic, and it's nothing to do with the question, but as a songwriter or as a trio of songwriters, I would love someone to do like a deep dive study on them, because he writes guitar parts that should not work with the anthemic nature of the songs. Like the guitar part for Tiny Indoor Fireworks is literally, it's a D chord with a sus and then back to the same chord while the bass is doing the work and the vocal is the melody. And then you hit the chorus and it's kind of old Biff with a jangly, like really awkward, or, high-speed hammering on and off. And I think he is actually one of the most interesting songwriters, because you when you take the guitar parts away from the songs, you're like, this is kind of shit sometimes, but it's the combo. Anyway, that music for me. Sorry, that was
if you've ever gotten around to the first 2 albums and listened to the fucking Carry On he's doing there, wow,
oh god,
but what happened
out there?
What happened between? Yeah, that's something. What happened with like Jaggy Snakes and all that? What happened between there and? Do you know what I mean?
The popularity and
there was like, something though.
Puzzle was like
Puzzle's a good album,
but Puzzle was like. That was
it, yeah.
The one for them. Like it just.
But even there's songs like I can't remember the song. It's one of my favourite ones. I've lost the name of it. It's just got like a guitar riff that repeats. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one. Yeah. And it's the vocal again. The vocal carries it, and that's amazing. And it is just like a Biffy, great band. Yeah, they are. Let's get them onto drinks. Have we plateaued with limited edition juice, which is a Scottish word for fizzy pop, and chocolate? It feels like the manufacturers are just now tinkering. I'll try that again. It feels like the manufacturers are just tinkering now without producing anything excited. How would you shake things up? Now, this is related to last week. I forgot this was in my office. That's the bottle. That's the sting. And Thomas tried this as well. You can see I haven't touched it. And I have come into this office without a drink, and I'm
I'd say that is flat.
It's meant to have been binned. I'm not normally a skank, but it's all right. You know what I mean? And what's the last time you had a limited edition? I mean, for me, it would be last year with the Cadbury's coffee. And I'm a massive fan of Cherry Pepsi Max, but that's been around for ages now.
Diet Coke released Clementine at Christmas.
That was all right. Yeah.
That was all right. That was the last one I had.
But it was all right, wasn't it? It wasn't.
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything special.
Yeah, I don't even really drink any of these things, so for me,
I think they're all crap.
I have
as well.
no idea.
Okay.
This one.
So the answer to that question is,
how
would you shake things up? What would you make? Pringles flavoured fizzy pop?
No. That we're talking.
I don't know.
Little pimp for fork off. Our Patreon only
pizza
podcast.
Milk flavoured.
Pizza and milk flavour.
Interesting things are happening.
I did
in
actually
the
get a lump in my throat there.
Yeah. Interesting thing happening in the sweets area. Like, have you had squashies?
Oh yeah. Oh,
so they are good. But have you had rhurb and custard squashies?
No.
They are dangerous. They are dangerous.
I didn't know they
So the
existed.
Turn into a
section,
squashy yourself, I'd say.
Oh man, they're. Can you eat just one of them, or do you always have two at a time?
Full bag,
I'd
mate.
eat the whole
I'll
packet.
go good and full.
Right, what fundamental design flaw would you like to correct in a product of your choice? And what is your idea for improving it? For me, I would like to improve boxer short longevity, but having a thicker layer of undercarriage material makes total sense. I've got two. So, if you want to hear them.
Go for it.
As a child, I believe I came up with the idea that nobody has yet done, that I feel I am by right. This is copyright, by the way, right now. No stealing it. No stealing it. No one. Jeans that come with a inbuilt pop puree. Okay? So, when you're a younger man, not now, I mean, Christ, now it's shower 3 times a day just to keep the stench off, isn't it? Let's be honest. But when you're a young man, you can wear jeans. And in fact, you are not supposed to wash jeans. Did you know that? You are not supposed to wash jeans. You can put them in the fridge, but that's a different story. Look it up, Adam. Don't look surprised. Look it up, putting jeans in the fridge. But if you put pop puree in the crotch and back passage area, just a small sliver of it, not to make it look bulky, they would still be fresh. And the other one is toasters. Toasters are fucking awful. Toasters don't toast bread properly. No matter what you do with the settings, they don't do it properly. So I think smart toasters are long overdue, where there is a camera built in that you can look at your toast being toasted and go, no.
As long as you don't end up with talkie toaster.
That's a real risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take for perfectly toasted bread. Anyone else got any? Products you use regularly that have got flaws? Absolute silence.
I'm trying.
No,
I can't.
I'm
I
completely
just don't
happy
think
with
about
everything
it.
I want kettles to be better with limey water.
I mean, speaking of kettles, I did look up. I won't say it because I think the soundbar over there is controlled by the Alexa word. But a smart kettle where you can sit down and say, boil the kettle. And that does exist.
I don't need that. I just want.
They're expensive.
But
They're
I
like
just
£100. I'm not paying £100 for
I
some.
would pay for it because we've got like. Well, we've got a kettle. What's the name
Have
of
you?
our kettle?
Oh, you rich bastards.
A 1 cup. Thank you, my lovely wife helped me there.
Okay, a
A
one
1
cup.
cup where you fill
As
it.
long
and
as
it
it's not
heats
2
2
girls in front of that, and we're all right.
No.
Don't Google that for the love of fuck.
Yeah, no.
It's
Don't.
not my fault if you do.
But if it like there was a part you could feed towards it and filled it up without you having to get up and then just do that, that'd be great.
Well, have you ever seen those taps where they're instantly boiling water, so you can just literally put a tea bag in and just whack it and then bollocks, it's there. I mean, bosh, not bollocks. Oh, I said bollocks. Bollocks. Yeah, don't know. Okay, Deadbeat Punk. Are there any songs that you absolutely hate, he says, but always get stuck in your head after hearing even a few seconds of it? I got one that very recent, but go on, Ads.
I'm going to quickly just rattle off 8 because.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to very quickly
Might
do
drink
this
Black Coke actually
because I only got asked recently from a friend. He texted me and said, "Give me your top 10 most hated songs." I was like, "Oh, that's a fucking mission."
And
but
you could only get to 8.
Well, these were ones like in my head. I was like, straight away, these are what this is what's coming out. So I was like,
in reverse order. Can we go from lowest?
Reverse order, yeah.
Yeah, please. I love this. He's actually looking, by the way, if people are listening off camera at his notes.
Number 8.
I feel like you should be pushing glasses up.
Yeah, I can do that.
I'll get through this now.
Right, number 8.
Number 8. Lou Reed. Take Wild Side. Take a walk on the wild side. Do you know that song?
Yeah.
Take a walk on the wild side. Babe. It is just a shit song. It's insanely boring. Number 7. I love the band, but I hate Pink Floyd Bike. I got a bike, you can ride it. It's a song that's just chaos. It makes no sense. It's just they were off their head, and that's that. And I just don't like it. And there's people who like.
I'm not hearing any so far that are like offensively.
Number 6. Come on, Eileen. Come on, Eileen.
Is that a song or a statement?
That's a desperate song. That's a desperate song. That comes on the pub. I'm leaving.
Wow.
Number 5. U2 1.
Yep. Anything U2, mate. You could say
anything U2. Yeah, but I actually. It's very funny because I have like.
It's the rest of the list just U2 songs.
I've actually briefed little like reasons beside each song that I wrote, and I was like, U2 1. Fuck off, Bono, you prick.
Yeah, I mean,
all
fair.
I've written.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I do not like. Okay, The Knack, My Sharona. Now people will be like, "Oh, it's not that bad." I can't stand it. That song is nearly 5-minute song. It's like
Is it?
and it's just over and over and over and over and over again. And it drives
if I can
me.
reach the guitars that are just I've never played it, but I've got a funny feeling it's either F and G or G and A.
Number 3, this song
Serious business.
makes my blood boil. When you're in a room, when you're especially in a pub. And it probably happens at football matches. It's not Seven Nation Army or whatever that.
Okay.
It is
Fratellis.
the Fratellis.
Yeah.
Chelsea Dagger. I cannot stand this. I'm like, no, never, not there for me. Number 2, Gangnam Style.
Fair. Yeah.
But it's ours. But like, it's just that song is so goddamn popular. Number 1.
Can we guess? Can we guess?
You'll never be able to guess number 1.
Okay,
it is
go
a
on.
new song. It is a very.
Oh, I think I do know it.
It is a new song. Well,
Dance Monkey.
Adam Cook. It is
Because that was my fucking song I was about to pick.
It is. I've never. I don't think I've ever heard a song that truly makes me just question everything
Now,
in music.
I had heard it a lot on the radio, but it was always kind of the background because people were talking. Now, I got in a car and it was on the radio, I was on my own, and it was the first time I truly heard the vocal properly.
The vocal.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
horrendous.
This is no. Like, her voice. her voice, dance, monkey, dance. I was like,
It's
oh my, what's
awful.
happening?
Yep.
Like, it
Yep.
actually really upsets me, that song. And it's
I didn't mind it before. It was only when I actually heard it properly, actually, you know, as you're supposed to, actually fucking engage and listen to a song rather than just being shit in the background. It's actually on. I was like, oh my God, the vocal is horrendous.
I think I have not heard a song this bad ever. Like,
Nope.
there's bad tune, but like, do you know, I could just listen to a song and go, that's terrible, I don't like it, go away from me. This Dance Monkey tune, like, and it's on every fucking
It's
like,
a lot.
TikTok video. And
I
all
now
these
turn it off.
Instagram videos.
If it's on the radio,
and you're like,
off.
Yeah, it is. Do you know it, guys? And Chris?
I don't really listen to music anymore. So.
Yeah. Do you know what it reminds me of as well, by the way? There's an episode of South Park where Randy, he's Lord. Do you remember? Have you ever seen that? And he's like going, Lord, 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 yeah, Lord, 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 yeah. And this song goes, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, yeah. And it's like, you're not even smart enough to know that you sound like parody.
You actually need to like just hear her tone. Her tone of voice. It's actually insane that someone went into a vocal booth and just did this, and then like.
Can you imagine listening to it on headphones?
And it became huge.
Can you imagine hearing that like right here? I think I'd be sick.
I'm very certain you definitely would have heard this.
They'll definitely know it. I would be quite surprised.
You definitely would have heard
Although
this song.
saying that, I've heard it mostly because I drive a lot. And at the moment, the situation we're in, people aren't listening to the radio.
If you say it's on TikTok quite a lot, my kids are on play with TikTok quite a bit.
You
so
definitely would have heard it because it just bursts out of nowhere, and you're like, oh.
Sinka, ba, ba, ba. What's she saying?
But you actually sound way nicer.
Copyright strike now.
But you know, like, but the thing is, like, the tone that you're doing there, you're trying to
I
do
can't
what she
do
does,
the tone she does because it's alien. It's alien.
And
it's so processed.
She sounds like a really bizarre child.
Like, that's also a chipmunk.
That's also that's it. That's Dance Monkey is like just
okay.
Awful.
Adam, that's it. That's fine. Chris, Gary, have you got one?
Probably the Ting Tings.
Remind me.
Oh, what was it called? It's called That's Not My Name or something like that.
That's not my
God,
name.
Yeah.
That's not my name. Yeah. Those kind of tunes, like they're.
Do you know, I have the opposite effect with.
Yeah.
I have the complete opposite feeling of a song that I always forget, and then when I hear it, I think, "Oh my God, what's that song by the Vaccines?" It's their big. Exactly, but whenever I hear it, it's on XFM. Sometimes it's like, "Oh, this is a banger." I'm gonna have to look it up now. Gaz, have you got one?
I don't really listen to that much music, but.
Oh.
Anything?
Sorry. It's the Vaccines one is if you want to come back, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. If you want to come back, that one, like it's it's a banger, but I always forget about it. Sorry, Gaz. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
That's fine. I don't think Adam does. But looks at his face.
I probably don't hear it.
Yeah, I mean, if I did a better rendition, maybe.
I prefer the Dance Monkey.
Unless you want to go with something like fucking Baby Shark.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
You have
See,
to
well,
say it.
that's just. That's just a prick of a song.
I'm not.
Anyway.
I'm not even going to apologise because everyone now is hearing it in the head. And
I actually think though, I would rather hear Baby Shark over Dance Monkey.
Same.
I actually have heard Baby Shark so much that I was just like, eventually got to a stage where I was kind of going, "What's this song? What's going on here?" And then I was told what it was, and I was like, "All right, okay." And it's kind of like, it never really truly got on my nerves too much. Dance Monkey was just like.
Can I just say, by the way, I promise you, Adam and I did not coordinate that.
Yeah,
I promise you. It's really strange because I was thinking about it. Literally, I heard it in my car yesterday on the radio, and I was like, I hate this. I hate this so much.
If you're not in a good mood, if you're having a bad day,
and I was,
and this song comes on, you're going to murder someone.
It was specifically the fact that it had been on in the background so many times, and it's kind of like, this is not my style, but it's like, this is fine, this is pop music. But then actually being alone with a speaker and hearing it like you're supposed to listen to music, like I say, and that vocal, no words. Last question. This is a nice, easy one. We're just going to all shout out our favourite. G-Town Steve wants to know. We all know that Bloodborne has the best soundtrack ever made, for original soundtrack, sorry. But what game's licensed soundtrack is your all-time favourite? Any tracks that instantly take you back to a game?
San Andreas.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk 2.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck. Tony Hawk 2. Blood Brothers, Papa Roach, Lagwagon, May 16th.
Unbelievable.
One of the
Rage.
PGA Tour
Wake,
games.
actually.
With the
Alan Wake,
radio.
I mean, it's not like not my favorite or anything, but that has actually got a really good soundtrack.
And I love Vice City.
I used to love the EA track stuff with FIFA, but one of the PGA Tour games had a Jimmy Eat World track, and it always reminds me of that. I would have to also throw out Burnout Paradise.
Yeah.
Paradise City.
Avril
I mean,
Lavigne.
one of the best intros to any game. Like you say, the Tony Hawk games. I mean, can I just say the Beatles rock band? Does that,
I mean, the first Guitar Hero had cracking.
But you can't. I don't think you can count them. I think that's.
Mafia 3 had a good soundtrack.
Oh, it did have a good
Very
soundtrack.
true. Very true.
Credence in it, didn't it?
Yeah, and
it
Jimi
was
Hendrix.
Good. Yeah.
In fact,
No,
it
that's
started
good,
up
yeah.
all along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
Right.
I think that's answered it. I think we've done it. There's some good.
We've done it.
Yeah, and on that note, we've done this podcast. Next week we'll probably have some more modern games to talk about, but maybe we won't. Maybe we will just continue talking about older stuff. Just a very quick reminder: if you enjoyed this podcast, if you enjoyed the fact it's now in video, you can see it or hear it, whichever you prefer, on Patreon.com/GodIsAGeek before anyone else. It is not an exclusive podcast, unlike our food podcast, Fork Off, which is, and we did just put up episode 1 of that on the main feed, on our audio podcast feed, because our patrons are cool and they were quite fine with us sharing the love. We're not going to be putting them all up there. It's just a teaser. It was the pilot. It was only half an hour long. Then near an hour now, actually. But we wanted to show people what it was. It was us finding our feet, that first episode, and we're up to 10 episodes now. You get 2 of them. Well, it's every fortnight, essentially. And we're up to episode 10, I believe, now. But you also get exclusive videos, early videos. You get code drops. There's a private Discord. I was thinking about it the other day. I actually think we're pretty good value for whether you go for the $5 tier, the 10, or even the $1 tier just to get the podcast early. I think we're pretty good value. So if you would just consider it, I'm not going to sit here going, oh, it does help us keep the lights on or the light on over there. Patreon.com/GodIsAGeek. We're very bad at promoting ourselves. We all know that. It's a thing. It's a humble thing. We know we're not good at it. But please have a look at it. Patreon.com/GodIsAGeek. Just to consider it, and maybe you'll go, actually, I can afford that, and I would like to support them. I like them. Gary, Christopher, Adam, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will speak to you or see you. Doesn't work if you're just listening. But one way or another, if you want another podcast this time next week, we're your lads. Speak to you next week. Bye-bye.